So a lot of people are talking about this. This is Crystal Ball, friend of the show. She, after the Mueller testimony, she went on a little rant about how messed up the Russiagate thing is, and she points her finger at MSNBC. So that's good. No, we played her before on the show because she came out against the Democratic Party before the 2016 election, saying, why are you trying to ram down this corporatist Hillary Clinton down everyone's throat? She's super unpopular. And so at that time, she was on MSNBC. Well, she's not anymore. They can't have that shit on MSNBC. So now she works for The Hill, right? They're starting a video show, The Hill. Have you seen it anywhere else, The Hill?
I've seen that
on
show.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just
I've
a YouTube show, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. It's like it's not on a broadcast. It's not on a platform. So now they're starting their YouTube show, and they got her, and she's good. We're a fan of hers. And she stumbles a little, but the overall point is good. She stumbles. She has to. This just goes to show you how beaten down people in the press are, that they have to genuflect to Russiagate. Now, watch this. Watch. Even while they're tearing down the coverage of Russiagate, they still have to genuflect to it. Watch this.
May the meme be with you.
Watching 7 hours of a spectacle that felt much more cruel than enlightening. I think that Mueller hearing was elder abuse. That's what I think. I don't know if you saw it, but that's what she said. It was cruel. Yeah. Longer avoid pondering a question which honestly gives me no joy to ponder. Just how much damage has MSNBC in particular done to the left?
Oh. So this is what I've been saying about people. She's talking about people who push Russiagate at the top of their lungs breathlessly for the last 3 years. How much damage have they actually done? People don't realize that people pushing Russiagate are actually damaging the left and propping Trump up. And even after I've told those people, guess what? They still fucking do it. Isn't that something? Even though I've said it, she's saying it, lots of other people have said Russiagate is helping Trump, they still won't stop it. And I say to those news outlets, thank you for leaving such a huge lane for me.
This critique is not meant to be personal to the anchors and the commentators there, many of whom I know, some of whom are actually close friends, having worked at that network for 5 years.
I know you don't mean it to be personal, but there's no other way they're going to take it.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet.
Good luck.
But nearly all of whom got swept up in the ratings bubble that was feverish Russian conspiracy theories. At MSNBC, as in all things, systems and incentives are far more important for analyzing any particular situation than individual personalities. However, I dare to say, some talent did drink more deeply of the Russia conspiracy waters than others. Rachel Maddow, you've got some explaining to do. Now, look, I am not like a Glenn.
She is never going to explain anything, and she doesn't have any price to pay for that. In fact, I bet she gets a raise. She's not going to pay any. Rachel Maddow's not paying any price. She's never going to explain anything. That's how journalism works. It's called herd mentality. And
Crystal, what if the heat in your house just went poof? What are you going to do then? Still going to make these videos? What if it just went poof?
Yeah.
And Russia did it.
What if Russia turns off the heat to your house, Crystal?
Greenwald, who thinks this was all ridiculous.
Okay, so here's the bad part. Here's the part where she loses the plot. Just for a little bit. Watch this.
Now, look, I am not like a Glenn Greenwald who thinks this was all ridiculous and the Trump campaign did nothing nefarious vis-a-vis Russia. The president's team clearly sought to work with Russia.
So that's just some blanket assertion she puts out about Glenn. She doesn't specifically say what you disagree with about Glenn. She just talks in broad generalities. Watch this. It's kind of bullshit. But this is what I mean. She has to first genuflect at the altar of Russiagate before she can go on and debunk it.
Now, look, I am not like a Glenn Greenwald who thinks this was all ridiculous and that the Trump campaign did nothing nefarious vis-a-vis Russia. The president's team clearly sought to work with Russia. They used Russian illegal activity to their own benefit, and then they lied about the whole mess to try to cover it up.
And that's why nobody was indicted. That's why after 2 investigations, 22 months by Mueller, not a fucking shred of evidence to support anything you just said. Isn't that weird? She's about to fucking wag her finger at people for covering Russiagate poorly and hyping it. And before she does it, she has to first affirm that Russiagate's real, even though it's not. Isn't that weird?
Those were the 3 Hail Marys, dude. I mean, that's like the perfect way to put it. You have to genuflect at the altar of Russiagate.
She just makes broad generality. They clearly, if it was so goddamn clear, why isn't there one goddamn indictment about it? Not one. Not one. Not one person from, not Trump, and they had, remember, they had a tap on everyone's phone. They had a FISA warrant on Carter Page. They had everybody. They've got not one person. And Mueller admitted as much. That's in the report. No one was charged. So if it's clear, we just gosh darn it, Trump and his campaign, they're so illegal and they're such morons, yet they outsmarted the entire FBI and the CIA. But we know they did it. That's what she's...
Well, you can't wag your finger at Rachel Maddow.
Right.
And then throw
fucking do
Glenn Greenwald under the bus. I mean, that's really like a collision of ideas. And now, so what's your thesis here?
Yeah.
Like, what's your point?
Well, she first has to genuflect to Russiagate. She can't just go, of course this was bullshit. Of course this was made up. Did you watch the Mueller hearings? Did you watch? He didn't even interview Julian Assange. He didn't interview the guy who started this whole thing, who told Papadopoulos. He didn't do anything.
Activity to their own benefit, and then they lied about the whole mess to try to cover it up.
What then? So if that's all true, why is it? Where is the proof for that? Where's your evidence? Why don't you write a fucking Pulitzer Prize winning article that proves all that shit? Because there isn't. You can't write it because there isn't any proof of it. All right, so now I'll let this go, and now we'll get on to her critique of MSNBC.
Those are the facts, and it is a damning set of facts. But it does not feel like a damning set of facts when for months MSNBC built segment after segment, show after show on building anticipation for a big reveal when we would learn the true depths of Trump's fealty and direct conspiracy with Putin. In some of the most fevered speculation, primetime shows actually invited Jonathan Chait on to lay out his wild theory that Trump had actually been a Russian asset since 1987. Chait starts out his analysis, I watched this back last night, by acknowledging that Trump, as multi-decade-long Russian asset, is, quote, probably not true, but it might be. Characters like conspiracy gadfly Louise Mensch were invited on. Mensch, through her Twitter account, often, quote-unquote, reported things like the notion that Steve Bannon was getting the death penalty for espionage. They had this person on MSNBC. Serious.
I know. I feel the same way. And lots of YouTubers also bring her on their show and treat her credibly. There you go. Crystal Ball also sees the ridiculousness of this woman and how she's been propped up by the people pushing Russiagate. And of course she's welcome on MSNBC, and Glenn Greenwald isn't, and Aaron Matei isn't, and Kyle Kalinske isn't, and Jordan Chariton isn't, and anybody else who's been debunking Russiagate, not allowed on. But guess who is? Someone who does conspiracy theories like this.
This is not journalism. It is InfoWars conspiracy theory.
It's exactly what they've been doing, which is why it's funny. Now when you watch those shows that push Russiagate at the top of their lungs and they try to still wag their finger at someone like Alex Jones or anybody else, it seems so silly. It rings so hollow. Can you imagine Rachel Maddow trying to call someone else a conspiracy theorist? And look what she has in her graphic. It says, Crystal Ball on my radar, NBC News, InfoWars. She's going right at him.
Mm-hmm.
She's going right at him. So when does MSNBC lose their YouTube channel? When does MSNBC lose their Twitter account? When does MSNBC lose their Facebook page? Oh, never? Because they're the establishment?
Now, CNN and many other outlets are also clearly not blameless in this hype machine. And the Democratic Party was plenty happy to engage in this speculation, as well, as Sagar just pointed out. Individual members clearly loved that sweet cable news spotlight, but I single out my former employer in particular, in part because they were certainly the worst mainstream offenders. And also to dispel this public perception that MSNBC is on Team D in the same way that Fox News is on Team R. They're not.
Okay, that's another word. I don't know why you used to feel like you have to say that. That's not true. They're on Team D. Why? What? What? so there's two mistakes she makes in this, but everything else is pretty good.
Look, like most corporate entities, MSNBC is a die-hard member of the Green Party, and I'm obviously not talking about climate change here. Russia conspiracy was great for ratings among the key demographic of empty nesters on the coast with too much time on their hands. Consider this whole setup has done more damage to the Democrats' chances of winning back the White House than anything.
That is the key point. That this nonstop Russiagate has done more to prop Trump up and ensure his reelection than anything else. I mean, more than Jill Stein? More than Susan Sarandon? More than a jagoff comedian in his garage? Really?
That Trump could ever have dreamed up. Think of the time and the journalistic resources that could have been devoted to stories, I don't know, that a broad swath of people might actually care about. Healthcare, wages, the teachers movement, whether we're going to war with Iran. I'm just spitballing here. I actually heard some pundit on Chris Hayes last night opine that independent women in middle America were going to be swayed by what Mueller said yesterday. Are you kidding me? This is almost as bonkers. And
that's the kind of stuff that passes for political commentary on MSNBC. Have you not watched it lately, Crystal? That's it. There was actually a guy last night. It's every night. And often it's Chris Hayes.
Lacking in factual basis as that time that Mimi Rocah said Bernie Sanders was not pro-woman because that was what her feelings told her. Rocah, by the way, a former federal prosecutor with no political background, is only opining at MSNBC because of her role in leading viewers to think that any day now SDNY is going to bring down Trump and his entire family.
So you're saying, Crystal, that they picked out a person who has no political background to come comment on politics because she's willing to push a narrative that has been okayed by the corporation? So that's why. So there's only one point of view that's allowed on that, and you still think they're not on Team D? But that is what she's saying. She's saying that this only reason this woman was brought on is because she's going to prop up the narrative that's being pushed by the channel, by the entire corporation. There's no Sept Smith over at MSNBC. There's no truth teller over there. They don't have Jimmy Dore on 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock telling you that everything else is bullshit. You know, when I was with the Young Turks, at least they had that. They had the aggressive progressives, and we told everybody that Russiagate was bullshit. We were like the Sept Smith over there. They don't have that at MSNBC.
Now, most of the wild conspiracy theorizing fell apart when the Mueller report was released, but one key element of the storyline remained. Mueller, the hero. The white knight who would come riding in at the last moment to convince those independent middle America women that Trump was the crook and the scoundrel that we said all along. Needless to say, the white knight rides no more. Of course, in many ways, Trump really is the crook that we said all along. But by trying to make this spectacular case, we set the bar unimaginably high and made Trump's actual corruption, broken promises, and casual cruelty seem ordinary by comparison.
So that is such a great point she made. So kudos to her for making that point. And the point she's making is, so when you raise this bar so high, like, hey, he's a traitor. Hey, Trump is actually working in cahoots with another country who's an enemy. Trump doesn't. And then when none of that proves to be true, and you go, he violated the Emollients Clause. He hired someone from his family to work in. Like, do you see how that seems like nothing compared to the shit you've been accusing him of, and how that's not going to excite anybody? The actual corruption in his administration is now not sexy, and it's boring in comparison. That's what she just said, right?
Yeah. Well, and in the meantime, too, what she also alluded to in the segment as well, like his base is stirred like a hornet's nest.
Yes, that is exactly right.
Now, please, as I said before, can we move the heck on? And Sagar, if there's one positive to all of this, it's that it has so crashed onto the rocks that I think we may actually move on now.
So I'm still
I wish I shared her
I
optimism.
don't think so
either,
Ron.
I think
happening.
she did a great job on that segment, but I wish I shared her optimism there.
Yeah, no, that's not happening, Crystal. I appreciate your optimism too.
Tune in today.
I thought all along, when I was still at the Young Turks, I thought all along, well, you know, the Mueller report will come out, and I can tell you, I can predict what's not going to be in it. What's not going to be in it is evidence of collusion or conspiracy. And then everything will get back to normal, and we can all go back to reporting the news. That didn't happen after the Mueller. It's not stopping. They just got on another horse. All of them, all of the Russiagators, they're not stopping. They just, no collusion, no conspiracy, nothing, not a goddamn thing. Boom, let's jump on this horse because obstruction. We'll go on this. Oh, now we're going to get him after he's out of office. Let's keep going. We got him. He did it. We know he did. They just are not stopping. Now they're on the, and people are also disingenuously reporting Mueller's hearing. I've seen it myself. I saw people show a video where Mueller says that he didn't charge Trump because of the OLC opinion that you can't indict a sitting president. Then he walked that back the next moment when he was testifying after the break. They don't show that part. Can you imagine doing a news show? You show one part and then you don't show the part where the guy clarified what he meant and actually reversed himself? So it's not stopping is my point. Did you see how people covered the Mueller hearing and then you see how we covered it? Do you see the difference? They're not stopping. This is not stopping. This is all they have. This is all the Democrats have on Trump is Russia. That's all. What has been their big plan for the country? What is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? What have they been? A better deal. What is that? Good, better, more better, good things that I have to read it myself and I'm the leader. I don't even know what it says. Anything? Okay.
Jimmy, I have to say, like, in the middle of all this Russiagate, when all these people who continue to profit from this type of reporting were asking for Trump to invade Venezuela at the same time, my head was just snapped back.
I know. Same people who are saying Trump's a traitor.
He's a maniac.
Want him to invade Venezuela, want him to go hard in Syria, want him to go hard in Iran. It shows you that they don't mean anything and it's all politics. Next live Jimmy Dore show, August 2nd in Burbank, California. Then we go to Denver, San Francisco, Baltimore, Seattle, and Honolulu for Christmas. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets and become a patron or a premium member. We give you tons of bonus material and lots more. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com. Sign up, become a member. Couldn't do it without your support.